Ride the signal through the unknown. This is the cryptic current.
The farthest distance in the universe that humans have set foot on is the moon, 280,000 kilometers away. The deepest point at the bottom of the ocean that humans have reached is the Challenger Deep in the Mariana Trench, 11,000 meters deep. Relatively speaking, it seems we haven't been able to go very deep underground. Therefore, the place we know less than even the least known places is actually underground. Today, let's begin our journey to explore the mysterious world beneath the ground. How thick is the Earth? Miss Ruby. Let. 2 meters is the common burial depth in funerals. In fact, the history of human cremation isn't very long, and throughout most of history, most people were buried. The reason Westerners choose burial is because after Jesus was buried for 3 days, he resurrected. So they believe that after burial, one will be resurrected. However, the reason Easterners choose underground burial is for eternal rest. Return to Mother Earth. So why bury at a depth of 2 meters? Because at this depth, the body won't cause epidemics or infectious diseases. However, in recent years, Easterners no longer use burial methods much, but mainly choose cremation. Because underground burial takes up a lot of space and can cause sanitation issues. In the West today, burial is still more common, but many places are also starting cremation. The reason is fear of bodies turning into ghosts or vampires. Because in Western history, there have indeed been many strange cases related to this. There's also the form of burial under trees. For example, an entire family or clan being buried under one tree. Because some people's view is that trees give a sense of life, as if the souls of the deceased can reside in the tree, and all family members can gather together. Okay, let's dig further down to 4 meters. S tomb, ISN. Tutankhamun was an Egyptian pharaoh of the 18th dynasty. In 1922, 2 Egyptologists Howard Carter and Lord Carnarvon first opened Pharaoh Tutankhamun's tomb. In front of the tomb was a stone seal engraved with a threatening warning. Death will swiftly strike down anyone who dares disturb the pharaoh's sleep. Inside, they discovered the mummy of the famous pharaoh along with many artifacts, thus opening a new era for Egyptology. Among them, archaeologists found many strange treasures. For example, the dagger buried with Tutankhamun was made from a meteorite. Researchers believe the origin of the iron ore used to forge the pharaoh's blade was not from Earth. Additionally, one of Tutankhamun's most famous relics is his golden mask, weighing 10.23 kilograms, worth about $2 million United States dollars. This 4-meter depth is also the depth of the world's deepest ant nest, which is a nest dug by black long ants. Dig further, 5 meters, here there. Let me introduce a bit. Mosaic, the art of mosaic, is a manual decoration technique by arranging small material pieces to form unique and exquisite artworks. The entire area where this mosaic heritage was discovered is over 1,000 square meters, very well preserved. Due to geological changes, the floor rises and falls looking like a carpet that needs stretching. This mosaic heritage was discovered during excavation for building a hotel in Turkey. Since the site was excavated at a depth of about 5 meters, this could also be the largest mosaic discovered by archaeologists. According to the mosaic style, this work can be traced back to the 6th century BC, from the Hellenistic period extending to the Imperial, Ottoman, Turkish era, containing works from 13 successive civilizations. Okay, let's dig further down, 6 meters. 6 meters is the deepest depth that a metal detector can detect. Let's dig further down, 12 meters. 12 meters is currently the depth of the deepest animal dug burrow, made by the Nile crocodile. When it comes to crocodiles, people probably immediately think of expensive crocodile leather products. So people joke that must be why they all have to hide in burrows as deep as 12 meters. Additionally, this is also the depth of the Loyon shovel. a tool tomb robbers were forced to use when digging graves could reach. This Loyang shovel can dig up to 10 to 20 meters in one swoop. Although it is a very ancient tool, it is actually very practical. So even now excavations still require the use of this tool. Let's dig further down, 15 meters. At this depth, we come to the time capsule. Buried at Flushing Meadows Corona Park in New York in 1938. With Albert Einstein's letter to future generations 5,000 years later, and exhibitions of the most advanced technological designs of that era such as telephones, electric razors, continue digging down to 20 meters. 20 meters is the depth of the Paris catacombs, also known as the Empire of the Dead beneath Paris. Beneath Paris lies a massive tomb containing 6 million sets of remains, with a total length of 312 kilometers. How was this place formed? Mainly due to the plague outbreak in Paris in 1786. To solve the problem of local cemetery shortages and public health risks, they relocated bodies buried in all the city's cemeteries to this place. Since then, this underground catacomb served as a public cemetery until 1814. Currently, this catacomb has become a museum, attracting about 500,000 visitors annually. Okay, let's continue digging down to 35 meters. This is the depth of the highest foundation of the Qin Shi Huang Mausoleum. The Qin Shi Huang Mausoleum has not been excavated, so its exact depth is not clearly determined. According to analysis by Ying Chaozhong, the Chinese-American physicist analyzed, the Qin Shi Huang Mausoleum is speculated to be 500 to 1,000. If it's really that deep, then the Qin Shi Huang Mausoleum is very likely the deepest place humans have dug, without needing machinery. According to current common understanding, it's only about within 30 meters from the highest point. Just dig another 30 meters deeper. However, historical records describe it as relatively deep. It was dug to the point where it couldn't be dug any deeper. We continue digging to 85 meters, the depth of the city of Kaymakli, Cappadocia, Turkey. Derinkuyu in around the 7th-8th century BC. This ancient city is believed to be an architecture used to avoid nuclear pollution caused by nuclear war. The deepest part of this structure is 85 meters, equivalent to a building about 20 to 30 stories high. Inside the city includes 8 levels, with a capacity of up to 3,000 people, with wells, storage spaces, ventilation shafts as well as common areas like churches, stables and kitchens. One of the notable features of the underground city, Kaymakli, is the huge circular stone entrance. 1. This door can only be opened from the inside and weighs over 1,000 pounds, approximately 400. 2. The city also boasts a functional air conditioning system used to regulate temperature and humidity. 3. We continue digging to 105.5 meters, the depth of the world's deepest subway station, Arsenalnet in Kyiv, Ukraine. 4. We once mentioned Kyiv when talking about time travelers. 5. A young man who accidentally took a photo from the past that traveled to the future. 6. Upon returning, described what he saw on television, and that incident took place in the city of Kyiv. 7. It can be said that Kyiv is the center of Ukraine, but the geology here is not suitable for building subways. 8. So they had to search for a long time, finally finding harder ground at a depth of over 9. Where construction was possible and they built the subway there. 10. We dig further to 122 meters. The depth of the roots of the wild fig tree, the tree with the deepest roots in the world. 11. If its diameter were placed vertically on the ground, its height could equal a 40-story building. 12. We continue digging to 155 meters, the depth of the deepest hotel room currently. 13. This hotel in Sweden is called Sala Silver Mine. 14. The town of Sala was originally a famous silver mining area in 15. But after 400 years, the silver mines were depleted, leaving only empty tunnels. 16. Therefore, the town of Sala was concerned about future livelihoods. 17. So they decided to utilize these mine tunnels to open a hotel. 18. Allowing tourists to experience staying in a room 150 meters underground. 19. Additionally, they take advantage of the cave's characteristics to organize concerts. 20. We dig further down to 305 meters, where there is a crystal cave formed from giant crystals. 21. The giant crystal cave. 22. This is the world's largest crystal cave at the Naka Mine, Chihuahua, Mexico. 23. Famous for its giant selenite crystals. 24. Many of the world's largest crystals were all 25. In 2000, while searching for new ore deposits, 26. Two minor brothers, Aloy and Javier Delgado, discovered this crystal. 27. The sight before them made them exclaim in astonishment. 28. Giant milky white selenite crystals towering around them. 29. Covering the cave and jutting out sharply from all directions, including the floor, ceiling. 30. Hundreds of giant sparkling crystals, some over 11 meters tall and weighing up to 55. 31. With 100% air humidity and temperatures around 50. 32. Anyone entering the cave must wear special cooling suits and limit their visit to just 45 minutes. 33. Legend says that selenite crystals have healing properties and can rejuvenate those who touch them. 34. It is named after Selene, the Greek moon goddess, with the meaning of bringing good luck. 35. That is also why the giant crystal cave is a dangerous destination but has a magical allure. 36. We dig further down to 500 meters, the depth for burying nuclear waste. 37. Currently, humans still have no way to completely dispose of. 38. But can only store it in sealed containers for future generations. 39. Nuclear waste is first processed by manufacturers into vitrified solid. 40. Then placed in radiation-shielded metal containers. 41. This method could ensure human safety for about 100,000 years. 42. However, no one could predict everything, and due to various reasons, nuclear waste still leaks, causing serious consequences. 43. For example, the world's third worst nuclear waste leak occurred in Russia. Lake of Death, City 40. 45. We dig down further to 524 meters, the depth of the Mirny Diamond Mine in eastern Siberia, Russia. 46. And also the world's largest and most valuable. 47. The value of diamonds produced from the mine reaches at least 13 billion pounds. 48. All resources in the mine belong to the Russian mining company Alroz. 49. This company supplies 1/4 of the total global diamond export. 50. The total depth of the Mirny mine is 524 meters, with a diameter of about 1,006. Viewed from above, its shape resembles a giant tornado. Because the mine is so deep, it can create tornadoes that suck helicopters inside. A helicopter was once swept into a tornado while flying over the mine, but fortunately, there were no human casualties. After that, the local authorities banned helicopters from flying over the mine area. We continue digging down 700 meters. 700 meters is the depth where the 2010 Chilean mining accident occurred. On August 5, 2010, a copper mine in Chile collapsed, trapping 33 miners at a depth of 700 meters. At that time, people outside didn't know the exact location of the trapped miners, nor did they know how many survivors there were. When the rescue began, they first tried through other tunnels to see if they could reach the collapsed area. The result was failure. Then, they started drilling a small hole down to a depth of 688 meters. They heard sounds, like tapping noises. They knew there were people underground, but the location wasn't clear. Then they followed the sounds to continue digging. They dug for many more days with great difficulty. Finally, they broke through and found people. The trapped individuals were still alive. These 33 people were trapped in a very cramped state. After that, they wrote a small note and sent it out through the drill hole. All 33 of us are alive, but water and food are running out. Fortunately, they were trapped right at the food storage area. Once the location was known, the rescue team began planning to drill a larger hole. Drilling a larger hole was much slower. It took 2 months to break through to that location. And it took 8 to 9 hours to bring each person out. All 33 people were rescued alive. This is the most classic rescue in history, and is considered a miracle. This incident occurred in 2011. The 33. We continue digging down to 1,000 meters. Here is Japan's Super Kamiokande Observatory. It consists of a cylindrical stainless steel tank, 41.4 meters high and 39.3 meters in diameter. Inside, it contains 50,000 tons of pure. Within this tank is another cylindrical stainless steel tank, 33.8 meters in diameter and 36.2 meters high, with 11,146 photomultiplier tubes attached to the inner wall. The observatory is located 1,000 meters underground to block signals from other cosmic rays, preventing the material inside the tank from being affected. The purpose of this observatory is to observe neutrino particles. The universe has very small subatomic particles, such as quarks, bosons, and among them, neutrinos. They fly through space, and if we understand how they operate, it could change how we think about the universe and answer many questions. Previously, using traditional methods to create these particles, the research team made larger particles collide at high speeds and recorded the reactions. However, researchers have now found an easier method to observe these particles. That is listening, recording phenomena, and observing. This is Japan's main purpose in building this structure. Tests continue with a depth of 1,642 meters. This is the depth of the world. You must have heard of this lake before, right? But in reality, this lake is not a tourist destination because it's located in a remote Siberia region. In Russia, when organizing the Winter Olympics during the torch relay, the torch was carried through a part of Lake Baikal. They took the torch diving under Lake Baikal and even passed it underwater. Tests continue with a depth of 2,197 meters. This is the depth of the world. A natural cave named Krubera Cave, located in Georgia. The currently discovered depth is 2,197 meters, but in reality, it's even deeper. Why is that? Because the bottom of the cave is water. After diving down 100 meters, they discovered a depth of 2,197 m. That's just that they couldn't. So the exact depth of the cave cannot be known. Tests continue with a depth of 2,400 meters. This is the depth of the world. Called the Jinping Underground Laboratory for Dark Matter. Why did they build such a deep laboratory? It's because they need to block cosmic rays and interference from other factors. Their argument is that dark matter can penetrate everything. So at this depth, other cosmic rays definitely cannot penetrate. What can enter is precisely dark matter. If their detector reacts, then dark matter has been found. However, up to now, there has been no reaction. We continue with a depth of 3,600 meters. This is the deepest known location with multicellular organisms, the devil worm. They live here. High temperatures and high pressure cannot kill them. Although they are nematodes, they are the animals discovered at the deepest location so far. We go down further to 3,902 meters. This is the deepest underground depth humans have reached so far. For the sea, the deepest humans have reached is over 11,000 meters at a Challenger deep in the Mariana Trench. But underground is only 3,902 meters. This is a very famous gold mine in South Africa, named the Tatona Mine. The depth of this mine is exactly 3,902 meters. If you want to go down here, it takes 1 hour. We continue with a depth of 12,262 meters. At this depth, there is the deepest drilling well done by the Soviet Union, taking 20 years, with a well mount diameter of only 92 centimeters. The initial goal was to drill to a depth of 15,000 meters. The entire plan was expected to take over 20 years. The drilling started in May 1970 and by 1983 had reached a depth of 12,000 meters. The Soviet Union even held a celebration for nearly a year. However, when drilling reached exactly this depth of 12,262 meters, the project was suddenly stopped. Regarding the reason for stopping, there are two streams of information. The official information given was due to the dissolution of the Soviet Union and depleted funding. So this Kola super deep borehole project was stopped. However, along with that, a rumor more widespread than the official information is that the project was stopped because they had drilled through the gates of hell. When they drilled to this depth, one day the drill bit suddenly started spinning extremely fast. This meant they had drilled into an empty cavity without rock. After drilling into this cavity, they recorded a sound that later became famous as the Siberian Hell sound. I've listened to it. It feels like there are male voices, female voices. It feels like many people are screaming. Hearing these very scary sounds makes you imagine the scene happening. It feels like people being tormented in hell. Regarding the authenticity of this story, of course, some believe it and some don't. But it's only known that the project leader at that time, Dr. Erzhikov, he said such a thing. As a communist, I don't believe in gods or the Bible. But as a scientist, I now believe there is hell. He also said we were shocked by such a discovery. We know what we saw and heard. And we firmly believe we drilled into the gates of hell. Therefore, he decided not to drill any deeper, perhaps fearing that the inhabitants of hell would surge up. So this hole is now sealed, never to be opened again. Alright, let's continue drilling to 33,000 meters. The depth from the surface to 33,000 meters is called the Earth's crust. The main component of the Earth's crust is volcanic rock. From this perspective, Earth is no different from Mercury, Venus, Mars, and the Moon. Their surfaces are all volcanic rock. People can see this layer. The rocks or lava that people commonly see are exactly this layer. Alright, we continue drilling from 33,000 meters to 800,000 meters. This layer is called the upper mantle, and this part is also rock. Probably everyone imagines the underground world as dark and cold, right? But actually, this part is extremely bright. In other words, usually when we look down at the ground, we see black rocks, right? Thinking that underground is all like that, but no, the underground is actually glowing. Precisely because the temperature down there is extreme. This temperature comes from pressure. The immense pressure causes the temperature of the rocks or lava to rise. After the lava's temperature increases, it begins to glow. When matter is heated up, it starts to emit light. Just like iron, if its temperature is raised high enough, it will start to glow. So inside the Earth, everything is very bright. And if we remove the light from this mantle, what's inside? All gemstones. Mainly green gemstones, also called olivine. And there are rubies, sapphires, and diamonds, all of these things. So how do we know this place is full of gemstones? It's because molten magma often brings things up from the upper mantle. So people often discover things like emeralds and rubies from volcanic magma. Therefore, the gemstones people buy are actually the most common things on Earth. So the entire upper mantle from 33,000 to 800,000 meters is glowing green. But the parts closer to the surface have lighter colors, from light green to dark green and finally turning blue. The material doesn't change, but the color continuously changes due to pressure. The distance between atoms becomes closer, and the color becomes darker. Alright, now let's leave the world of gemstones. Continuing downward, 2.8 billion meters. From 800,000 to 2.8 billion meters, these 2 million meters are called the lower mantle. The things in this lower mantle are no longer brought out by magma. Do you know what? According to current understanding, it's probably still rock. Just as the color would be darker, it would also be glowing rock. That's a type of gemstone we. Alright, let's continue down another 2 million meters, 4.8 billion meters. We have entered the outer core region of the Earth. This is a 2 million meter wide ocean of. How do we know this is liquid iron? Thanks to electrons of the Earth's magnetic field. The Earth has two poles, the South Pole and the North Pole. All magnetic phenomena are created by moving electric currents. Underground rocks hardly move. They cannot generate the Earth's magnetic field. Therefore, it is speculated that there must be moving metal below. This 2 million meter deep ocean rotates rapidly inside. How fast is this speed? About 1 meter per hour. It sounds slow, over the circumference of 2 million meters. It is enough to create such a large magnetic field for the Earth. If this molten iron stops rotating, the Earth will lose its magnetic field, and all living beings on Earth will die. So why does this iron flow move? Because the Earth's core temperature is higher, while the temperature of the rocks above is lower. This temperature difference causes it to move. When moving, it begins to form a rotation. According to current speculation, every 100,000 to 200,000 years, the South Pole and North Pole will swap once. Don't think 100,000 to 200,000 years. It's not long at all. Who knows, maybe one day soon, it has already swapped. When it moves, it will be extremely fast, in the blink of an eye. Not rotating slowly. Regarding this issue, we have talked a lot in videos about magnetic pole reversal. Those interested can learn more. Alright, let's continue exploring. The remaining part is the inner core of the Earth. From a depth of 4.8 million meters to 6,371,000 meters, the Earth's inner core is solid and also iron. Its temperature is higher than the outer liquid iron layer. But why is it solid? It's because the pressure is too great. Current research by scientists has found this iron sphere did not exist since the Earth's formation, but it appeared at some point, specifically about 1 billion years ago. This means the Earth's core is continuously solidifying. The inner core is gradually growing larger. And what consequences might this lead to? That is, after some more years, the liquid part will no longer exist, all will become solid. At that time, the magnetic field will also, the atmosphere on the Earth's surface, will be blown away by solar wind immediately. All living beings on the Earth's surface will die from ultraviolet rays. Before that happens, humanity's only path to survival is to quickly move underground to live. Therefore, looking at the big picture, human knowledge about the Earth's depth is only about 12,000 meters, equivalent to 0.2% of Earth's radius. We often say our understanding of the ocean is less than 5%. Understanding of the universe is less than 5%. Understanding of the underground is less than 0.2%. So what is the most mysterious thing to us? It is the underground world. However, ultimately, this is just a comparison between our limited understanding of everything. If viewed comprehensively, it further shows that tiny humans are inherently limited within a fixed scope and tirelessly explore the world day and night, the surrounding universe, above and below, inside, bit by bit. So humans can only either actively expand our thinking in a different direction or remain stuck in old patterns as they are now without daring to change. What about you? What do you think? I wonder if you belong to the group of people who want to explore and change. Hope you all share your thoughts in the comments section below the video and our sharing today. We'll pause here for now. If you find this video or the content on our Marubi channel truly useful, then share it with a friend to explore together. And also, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share so more and more people can know about our useful content. Sincerely thank you all. Hello and see you next time. Please subscribe to the Marubi channel.
If the signal hooked you, subscribe and catch the next ripple.